Hey, what's going on YouTube? Raphael here and welcome to another video on the Pokemon trading card game online, and this time it's deck profile. This time we have Dragonite. First of all, I want to be clear. This is not the exact list that Dylan Bryan was playing on, I think it was Virginia Regional? Yeah, I think it was that. But based on the input on that stream, a couple of pictures that were taken at the event, I pulled this list together. And that's what I've been working on, and so far this is the this is the best list I've come to, and I think that maybe I will drop the cards in favor of other two, but let's go and check this out. Okay, basically the idea of this deck is turning one soft deck, some soft luck, in this case Dragonite's defense, into a very hard luck with the help of another cards. For those of you who don't know, defense is a very interesting attack, especially since Dragonite has 150 HP. Defense for 3 colorless energy does 60 damage, and your opponent cannot play items from his or her hand during his or her next turn, which means that nowadays every meta deck will have half of its cards useless because they will not be able to play them. Other thing that we need to know about this deck, this is completely an anti-meta deck, so everything that is not meta can pretty much deal with you so easily. And other thing that you don't like to see, if there is any X that this deck does not want to see, that's Mewtwo EX. Because simply one Mewtwo EX will be able to get rid of your Dragonite so easy. So let's go and check this deck. First of all, Dragonite is my main attacker, so that means I have to have several Dragonites. In this case I'm running a 3-1-3 chain, 3 Dratini, and I'm running this because it's the only Dratini, the only kind of Dratini I have. 1 Dragonair and 3 Dragonites, all different Dragonites. And the other thing that will help this deck work out is the atrocious and widely hated Garbodor. Basically, this is a Dragonite Garbodor deck. And the combination of these two cards, both Dragonite and Garbodor, will allow you to get good matches against 4 of the 5 best decks in the format right now. Those 4 decks being Raybor, Blastoise, Berisian Genesect, and the Jetinos, or every other Plasma deck that you can find out there. Basically, you will use these 2 Pokemon to face those 4 decks, and you will use Mewtwo just in case your opponent, if he's playing Blastoise Keldeo with 5 energy will be able to one-hit knockout your Dragonites, so one easy way to deal with those Keldeos is Mewtwo EX. So then what about the other Pokemon I'm running? So basically, Berisian EX, which I run 1, Mr. Mime, which I run 1 too, and a line of 2 Solosis Reuniclus are basically there to counter Darkrai. Yeah, you hear me say it. These 6 cards are only meant to be played against Darkrai. Maybe we can not use Berisian, but I think it's a good idea to keep it around. The reason you want to keep these cards to play against Darkrai is because as soon as you get to defend, your opponent will not be able. Okay, will not be able to use trainers, which pretty much locks half of Darkrai decks and sometimes even more, because Darkrai decks run lots of items. The most popular version of Darkrai right now is Darkrai Garbodor. So if your opponent gets tool into Garbodor, you can use defend, and as soon as you get one tool scrapper, if you are able to get defend every single turn, your opponent won't be able to play a tool back again, and you will overpower your opponent, just because you will be able to two-hit Darkrai, and Darkrai will be anyways two-hitting you. So let's see, what else can we say about this? Okay, I will go back to Jirachi EX in just a moment. In the trainer section, the first thing that we can see is computer search. And you may say, okay, you are playing a stage 2 deck, so why in the world are you playing computer search? There's no reason for you to do that, but if you think about it, what you need to do in order to win with this deck is you need to get defense as soon as possible. You need to get Garbotoxin working as soon as possible. So that means computer search works as a consistency booster in this deck. I run 3 level ball just because I have so many Pokemon that I can look for with that. 2 max potions. Most of the times I won't be using these. I just keep them because in my first versions of this deck I really wanted to have at least 1 max potion. 4 rare candies, that's pretty standard for a stage 2 deck. 1 super rod, and I'm only running 1 because I don't think 2 will be that useful, at least not right now. 1 tool scrapper just because I want to be able to get rid of Genesec's G-Booster and tools on Garbodor. And if I keep using defense, there's no way my opponents will be able to attach those tools back again. So that's why I only play 1. 2 Ultra Balls because I need something to look for Garbodor, Dragonite, Virizion EX, and Mewtwo EX. And for my supporter lines, I run 2 Getsis. I've been considering adding 1 more Getsis, and the reason I use Getsis over other supporter like Colress or more Skylas or more Biancas is because I really want to keep my opponent drawing dead cards, and Getsis is great for doing that. If you start with Getsis against most of meta decks right now and you get to go first, sometimes you will get rid of 7 cards. I mean, up to 6 cards, which pretty much leaves useless most of the decks right now. For N, because I don't want to waste that many resources, the same goes with Juniper. I only run 3 Professor Juniper because this deck gets thin so fast. Seriously, you deck yourself out so fast that I had to cut my Juniper count down to 3. 2 Skyla because with the combination of Jirachi EX, Computer Search, and Skyla, basically 1 Level Ball or 1 Ultra Ball can become everything on your deck. 2 Tropical Beach, just because I'm playing a stage 2 deck, and my 2 lines, which are pretty low, but they have been working quite good for me. I run 1 Floatstone, 2 Silver Bangles, and 2 Silver Mirrors. For the energy, a very low amount of energy, 4 DCE, 4 Grass energy, and 1 Lightning energy. And that's it. If I were to make a few changes to this deck, that will be dropping down this 2-2 line to a 1, maybe 1-1-1 line, or even just 1 and 1 line. And other thing that will be useful is to get rid of Max Potion. And not completely get rid of Max Potion, but I think you can pretty much play this game with just 1. And obviously adding one more gets is because you want to keep your opponent drained completely dead, and keeping them with as few options as they can. So let's see how the deck works. Okay, and my first game will be against Blaze Chomp level X. He will be playing Plasma. Let's turn that up. Okay, right here what I'm going to do is I will start with that Mr. Mime, and since most of the times I need to get Trubbish and Garbodor out as soon as possible, I will play that just right now. My opponent will start. And I think he will take his time. Yeah, he will attach that DC into, what's it called, Snorlax. He will play Frozen City, and basically that's it. Right here what I'm going to do is, obviously I want a Dratini out as soon as possible. I will play that. I will attach DC into Dratini. I'm really not that concerned about my opponent playing Enhanced Hammer. I have not seen that in the Yeti, at least not that much, so I can yeah, I can safely do that. And look at that, he's ending me so bad, and by so bad I really mean so bad. Right here what I'm going to do is I will bench another Pokemon, and I need to get rid of this Frozen City as soon as possible, and that was a huge misplay, but since Frozen City is already in play, I cannot retract that play. So what I'm going to do is I will go for Tropical Beach and simply use Tropical Beach, and just like that I have just whatever I need in my hand at this moment. I have Rare Candy, Dragonite, and Silver Mirror, but my opponent says, no, you don't need those cards. Trust me, you don't need them. So in the end, he will finally get rid of my Mr. Mime, and right here there's no other choice for me but to promote this Trubbish. And right now, what I really need are my Garbodor to come out, because I need to retreat this Trubbish. So what I'm going to do is I will get rid of Dragonite and 1 Grass energy in order to get Garbodor out. That means no block for my opponent. I will attach Grass energy into my Dratini, and I will even play that Professor Juniper. Right here I will decide to go for another Trubbish just in case, and I will have to further my Solosis. And hopefully my opponent will not end me again, because that will be so annoying. Really, so annoying. But at least there are no abilities for my opponent. That means Deoxys won't be powering up this Snorlax, And my Solosis will be going down just right now. My opponent will use Skyla. Most likely he will want to go for Tool Scrapper. But I think he will go for Colress at this moment. Let's see. No, he goes for Professor Juniper. That was, in my opinion, a huge misplay from my opponent, because what he needed right now was to get rid of that, what's it called? That Floatstone. In the end, maybe it didn't matter, because if I'm able to get Silver Mirror out of my next supporter, that will be great. And right here, I don't want any kind of weird shenanigans of not having Dragonites in my deck, which has happened to me before. And as you can see, I only have 2. That means I have 1 priced, and good for me that I used that Super Rod before I discarded everything. Right here, I will get myself another Garbodor, and I will have to father again another Pokemon, because I don't have Silver Bengal. And my opponent is really feeling safe, because he has this Snorlax, and maybe that's since I don't have Silver Mirror, that's the reason, maybe that's the reason that he didn't go for that Tool Scrapper that he needed. So, as you can see, he will start powering up that Deoxys. He's not scared at all of my deck, and this is something that really matters right now, because the surprise factor plays such an important role in this deck, that if you have no idea what you're facing, pretty much you're fate to be doomed in these kind of matches. Because right now, as soon as I get 1 Silver Bengal, which hopefully will happen soon, the game will be over. I will play Colress right there, because I say, okay, I think it's better for me to get more cards. And as you can see, my opponent right now is up 3 prices, and it does not matter at all, because as soon as I get Garbodor and Silver Mirror attached into a different Dragonite, my opponent won't be able to do anything. So basically right now my opponent has no choice but to concede. I think he will try to team pack me once, and after that he will realize that he can't do anything. But let's see. Are you going to concede, or are you going to team pack? Come on, you can do this. Yeah, he will team pack me once, and he does not realize that it doesn't matter. I will end him back to a small hand. Still no luck for me, but I want to keep defending, using defend. And I think right now my opponent will finally realize that there is nothing he can do, unless he plays Kill UX, which I have not seen that much into Yeti decks, but let's see. And even right now it doesn't matter, that Frozen City does not matter, because I really don't want to attach more energy. And 40 damage in my next Dratini won't be able to knock it out. So I'm very safe at this moment. And I know my opponent will concede soon. Yeah, There it is. My opponent concedes because he can do anything. So my next round will be against Goramu. I will go first. I love to go first with this deck, and I will have a pretty good start. Dratini, Travish, and Mr. Mime, which is great. In as you can see, my opponent is playing Ravor, and just like that, look at what happens when you get that. What's it called? That thing gets us out in turn 1. Right here, I will be forced to get rid of things in order to be able to use Tropical Beach, so I will use Computer Search and I will get myself double colorless energy because that's what I need right now. One of the weaknesses of this deck is that you need to attach energy every single turn. You cannot miss energy attachment, because if that's the case, you are pretty much doomed. And my opponent got that rare candy out of his top deck, but it's first turn, so he won't be able to use that rare candy. In the end, he had to Juniper. He will go for Rayquaza, thinking that will save him, and he even commits one fire energy right here into that Rayquaza EX instead of attaching that into baby Rayquaza. Right here, I'm going to play another Getsis, and as you can see, that I'm sorry, that what's it called? Computer Search is going back again into my opponent's deck. There is not a lot I can do right here, and this is an unusual play for me. What I should have done right there was to retreat into Mr. Mime, because if I lose this Dratini, it will be very hard for me to get this deck going on. So right here, my opponent didn't get anything. That's good. So I survived, and here is one of the best things about Jirachi X in this deck. Jirachi X can pretty much turn into everything I need. Right here I will go for Skyla. That Skyla will give me Ultra Ball, and with that Ultra Ball, that means Defend. And with Defend, that means no items. And I even have one tool in my hand, so no items, no abilities, not a lot of cards for you, and Defend. And now you're stuck with that Tepic, because it has 2 retreat costs. You won't be able to retreat that in this moment. And we can see a Reshiram coming down. Maybe that will be annoying, but my opponent right now does not realize that. So what I'm going to do is I will go for that Juniper, because right now there is not a lot my opponent can do. And right here what I'm going to do is pretty much I'm going to sack something, because I want my Dragonites to be as healthy as possible, and I really don't need Mr. Mime or Reuniclus, so I'm going to evolve Reuniclus, and guess what, I can even pass this turn, because no, I cannot pass this turn. I will have to fodder something, and I decide to fodder my Mr. Mime. I really won't need that, and Reuniclus can be useful. My opponent gets Ember out. Still no abilities for my opponent. That's great. Right here he had to use Tropical Beach, which means that I will be stuck with that Mr. Mime. I'm okay with that because right now what I can do is simply get myself another Dragonite. That's great. He's just giving me enough time in order for me to knock out everything. I will use Tropical Beach again, and I really need my opponent to get rid of this Mr. Mime. But looks like that won't be the case, but no, he's able to play that switch. He goes for Mr. Mime, but I got my DCE out of another DCE out of that end of my opponent. I will attach that Silver Bengal into Dragonite, DCE into Dragonite. I will retreat. This Rayquaza EX will go down, and right here I can go for another supporter, but guess what? I have no supporters left. Great. So actually what I will get any random card, in this case that was Level Ball. This Rayquaza EX will go down. I will take my first two prizes, and without items and abilities, none of his attackers really worry me that much. What he needs to do is to get that baby Rayquaza going on, because that will be able to knock out my Dragonites in one hit. But my opponent realizes that that will take him so much time, because he will have to do manually attachments, and that will give me the game. So this is another Yeti match against another player. This time is Embor 710, and I start not as good as I wanted. So I need to keep my Trubbish safe, so my best option right now is starting with that Solosis. Right here what I'm going to do is I will use Level Ball to go for Dratini. I will play Tropical Beach, and I know this guy is playing some kind of Plasma deck because of that Genesect. So what I can do right now is I can go for Getses, and 4 cards are gone. Unfortunately, I draw not that good out of that Getses. That annoying Frozen City is coming back. I really don't care that much, but I need my opponent to knock out these Solosis. I really need that. He will have to end. I know that he will end. I just saw his hand. And if I'm able to pull one Silver Mirror right here, because I already have Dragonite in my hand, just in the second turn, this game will be over. Well, I need Garbodor, I need Silver Bengal, and I need another tool in order for that to happen. So let's see. My opponent will make me a favor and knock out that Solosis, because I really don't need it, and he will take his first prize soon. And for some reason at the end of these games, well, of this round of games, my opponents were lagging a little, and look at that, I don't even need to look for the Silver Bengal because I top decked that, and you just need to see this. Here comes the Dragonite, my last energy, Silver Mirror, Professor Juniper, and that's very close to game. Because, okay, my opponent can play Plasma Energy right here, promote something out of my bench that will get stacked, that's for sure. But it doesn't matter because he won't be able to play items. I will go for Garbodor. Maybe it was better to go for Dratini, but right now I'm not that scared about getting knocked out, because if my opponent decides to attach Plasma Energy into Genesect, he really cannot knock out anything, and he has such a small hand right now that I'm not concerned that he will get that Plasma Energy. That Skyla pretty much tells me that he or she has no draw supporter, which most likely means no Plasma Energy. So we'll have to go for something. Right here I'm thinking, okay, maybe Professor Juniper, Colress. Let's see, if I'm not wrong, this is a turn that my opponent gets one Enhanced Hammer, because he has not yet realized that he cannot play items. But let's see, he's taking his time, or she is taking her time. Hopefully we will get an answer soon. Hopefully. And right here she really needs to check her deck. There's no way she will waste this opportunity to check what is exactly price and if there is a way out of this luck. And there we have it, Enhanced Hammer, but she does not realize that defense will not allow her to play items. And I think that warning sign should be a little to the right, so it does not get camouflaged by the Pokeball. And right here I will get just what I needed, Dratini, I will attach energy, obviously Raiden Knuckle will do nothing, he has no energy in her discard pile, and right here comes the full luck, and now if you are playing Plasma there is no way out. The best way to get out of this luck is maybe playing Keldeo. Yeah, playing Keldeo, let something die. But no, my opponent can do nothing this turn. I will defend again. I know this will be long. This will be a very slow and painful process because defense will knock out his EX Pokemon in 3 hits instead of 2 because I really need that Silver Mirror. But I'm already powering up another Dragonite, so if for any weird reason this Dragonite goes down, I have another in my bench ready to go, and it already has Silver Mirror. Right here my opponent finally plays a draw supporter. I will go for Tropical Beach with that Skylight that I just top deck because that Frozen City is becoming annoying, and here comes the process of defense again. That 60 damage on this Lugia EX, that thing won't be able to do anything, and and yeah, you can see this is Dragonite is what I call a soft luck, because it happens just when certain conditions are met, and it does not stay as long as Garbotoxin, because it only lasts one turn. But with the help of Garbotoxin, this lock of defense becomes what I like to call a hard lock. And right now my opponent is not able to get out of that. And right here I'm going for Getses just because I want to keep my opponent's options as low or as small as possible. I only get to draw 2 cards. I got a supporter, that's great. And looks like my opponent is thinking that Silver Mirror prevents damage and effects from EX Pokemon. That's why he's committing that many energy into that Snorlax. Or at least that is what I think. So let's see. I will defend right here, but I really want to get something out of my deck, and I'm not that worried, so I will go for Super just so I won't deck myself out, and I will keep it in my hand because there is no reason to play that right now. I will defend again, no items, no abilities, and I will get another 2 prizes right here. Unfortunately, I'm only playing 2 Getses, so I cannot get rid of that huge hand. And finally my opponent concedes because he realizes that there is no way to get out of this luck. I wasn't able to find good games against Virizion, Genesect, Darkrai, Garbodor, and Blastoise. I will try to get them, but right now these are the 3 games that I got for you. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope that I was clear enough to assess the strength of this deck, and I will see you all next time.